Okay, so welcome back. My name is Matt. I'm the coding sensei. So what we're going to be doing today is, a lot of my videos so far have been, here or there. Some of this basic stuff isn't very interesting, but now we're going to start building something in JavaScript that I think we can all be very proud of. And I'm going to be making it's like a medieval adventure game inside of the terminal, and it's going to be done in all JavaScript. This is not going to have a GUI, graphical user interface, but we will see everything in the terminal. So it's going to be great. We're going to learn about JavaScript. We're going to learn a lot of different things while we're building this game out. This would also be a good computer science 1 or 2 final project. How many of them are going to be teaching you JavaScript? It may be in C++, something like that, but we'll get around to it. But anyway, so let's get started. Initially, the first thing that we would need is the start game initializer, okay? So before I build out all the components of the game, I have to make sure that the game can start. So as you can see, I'm calling an immediately invoked function expression, which is this right here, this async. It's using arrow syntax since we're using ES6. And the reason why we're using an immediately invoked function expression is because we don't want to affect the other scope of things that are going on. This is going to run first, and basically it's so we're running the starting the game. It's creating a new game class instance, and we're putting it inside the game variable. And since we're using async, we can use await since they work together. And it's saying not to execute the function until it gets this player setup function that's inside of the game, inside this variable game, which now has an instance of the game class. So basically, it's like we make a game class. So look, I'll begin to explain this as we go. Okay, so in ES6 syntax, this is how we define a game class. Okay, it's a little different. If you took my loops course, you'll see that JavaScript vanilla, we'll just call it vanilla JavaScript, and ES6 have differences in syntax. So yeah, and in this case we would call a constructor function, which is going to hold all of our, whatever sort of variables, functions we want to have inside of the game class. We can call inside the this constructor here. So let's see, since we are making a medieval adventure game, let's go ahead and start with our health. So we're going to use the this keyword inside of this constructor function because we are referring, and it's going to refer, let's see, player setup. So we'll not make that yet, but it's going to refer, set to 15, to the game class, and player HP is now a variable that we have access to manipulate forevermore in the program. So we're going to have gold. We're going to do a gold feature, and let's see, we're going to have the player name, and we're going to set that. So far we have HP and gold set to integers. This is going to be to a string, and then I'm going to give the player a weapon, and we're going to set this as a string to knife. Okay. And then just so we can have a few more things to work with. I'm actually going to set, we'll say this dot player potions, and we're going to set an array for red potion and then for an empty string. So an empty string is something inside of an array, so it would be an array with 2 items, and they're counted like in JavaScript with the index first, so 0, 1. But there are 2 elements so far. So we have the player attributes. These are the attributes that we're going to be able to manipulate throughout the course of the game. And so let's go ahead and make the player setup function. Now, I'm gonna do all of this with inside the game class, because these are locally scoped to the game class, and as you'll see, I'll have access to them throughout the course of the project. So the next thing we want to do is I'm gonna set it to an async function. I'm gonna call it player setup. Some brackets here. Okay, so now we're just gonna test it out. We're gonna say, well, you know what I like to do? I like to set up all these. I like to set these up actually. And see, look. Just do that. And we're gonna say, welcome to our game. Weary Traveler. Okay. And then we're just gonna see. So to run this file, I would say node game.js, and I have node.js installed. Ah, see, here we go. So we see starting the game, because that's our first one. And then it's saying, welcome to our game, Weary Traveler. Now I kind of like it if we just did it like that. So let's try it one more time. Yep. So welcome to our game, Weary Traveler. So what's happening here is we're essentially, we're just running this function first. It's initializing the game class inside this variable, and we're calling the player setup function inside of the game class, and we're having it run. And then, well, of course, it's going full circle here, if you could imagine that. So yeah, I mean, this is we didn't necessarily have to use async here, but it lends itself to using await, which we may use later on. So let's see. Look, I had a little syntax error. I had to put that there. So I'm just gonna close this off, and as you can see, we can just copy paste it, and I'll leave that as the opening message. Now the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have to start defining our attributes. So we're gonna use, I believe they're the template literal apostrophes, quotations. If I know in my last video I was having some issues with knowing knowing what those were called. So I have to use template literals because we're using ES6, and then from here I'm gonna do the ES6 syntax, and we're gonna say this dot player HP. So as you can see, it's even highlighting it there. This dot player HP. I'm just gonna put it in quotes, and when we run it again, see, it says your health. So I can just put health. See, and see this, and we're using the this keyword and we can call these things. Now we don't have a name yet because we have to ask the user to input their name, but let's start with all this here. So I'm just gonna say gold, and then we'll have player weapon, and so with the player weapon, we want to kind of have, let's say we also want to let them know if the damage level, right? So we'll say damage 5, and see, I'm still keeping it inside the quotations here, the S6 quotations. So damage 5. So let's just finish this up, and the last thing would be the potions. Let's see, we can even have, just so we know that it's a it's an array. And then we'll say potions, and we're gonna have to set it to, I don't know if we have to set it to anything here. So oh, you know what, we do. So if I set it to 0, because that would be the first elements. See, yeah. So if I were to set this to 1, it wouldn't display anything because it's an empty string in there. Yeah. So that's arrays. And as you see, data types matter. So yes, it's an integer, a string, an array of 2 strings. So we JavaScript, it starts at 0, so 0, 1, and so we're calling the red potion, and we're leaving the potential open to have a green potion, so, or a yellow or a purple, whatever works. So let's go ahead and just put another one here. See, it looks nice. Okay, so yeah, and like I said, if you're still confused about this keyword, player HP, player gold, they are all variables that we have access to inside the game class. So instead of having game dot this or that, we could just say this. And this is a keyword that works in different contexts. So, okay, now I'm gonna have to implement this little feature because one thing I need to explain, I've made this game similarly in Java, C++, and Python. So something like Python, it comes out of the box being able to take user input, okay? JavaScript does not come out of the box with taking user input. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess there could be a way that we could use like an alert. Maybe not an alert, but I think there is something that could be used. But since we're just doing this within the terminal, we're gonna import something called readline, and that's gonna allow us to read the text, the user inputs, and to manipulate it, because we're gonna have a series of choices. All right, so I just built out this code while we were gone for that brief 1 second. So I just want to explain what I went ahead and made here. So this is a helper function that is gonna take, like I said before, or maybe I didn't say this, the readline is a node module that we can import into our project, and we create this create interface, which takes input for it takes input and output, standard input, standard output. And then of course, from that same variable, we run a promise, and this takes that variable, it runs a function that's going to ask us the question. This is a package required for us to input strings into the terminal. Basically, it has to be able to read the string and us to communicate through the terminal. So that's the whole reason why we need to do this. And like I said, the JavaScript language, sorry, my nose is so stuffy, has its own way of doing things. So in this case, we would need to import that. And of course, once we get we input the answer to the question, it's going to either, as with a promise, we either have it close or we have it resolve with and run the resolve value. So this is just a shorthand way of accomplishing that. So yeah, I would say moving on. So we needed to make this so that we could even begin to ask questions in the program. So let's see. So the next thing that we would need to do, or we have to ask the user for something. So we say const name. Get input. What's your name? IT warrior. Okay. Let's see if this works here. There we go. And just so if you didn't know, Control C exits out of the program. There we go. So we'll just say that. Of course, it's not going to do anything at the moment because we're just asking it. So you see, I'm running get input. I'm having to run this helper function here that takes a question parameter, and we had to write all of this logic and a promise to basically take that question, the program to read it, and it to right now it's holding the answer in the variable, but we're not using it in any way. So we're just asking us what our name is going to be for the game. So we're going to have to make some conditionals. So in programs, this is a great example here. We're asking for inputs and we're having to fact check it through some conditions. So we're going to start with an if-else conditional sequence, and we have the name.length. So we're saying that the input, whatever the user is going to put in, we have to make sure that they can't just skip past this or they input something crazy. So we want to have some parameters with which they can input something. So first of all, we want to have them input something. So we have to say that inputting nothing, if it's an empty string, is something we can't work with, right? So we would say name.length, if name.length, and then we're gonna right here, if name.length is, we can say please enter something like a name. Okay. And then we could say return this.player setup. Okay. Then we have to give it an else. Alright, so either way we're gonna have to redo it here. So let's see, I hit enter. Let's see. The only thing that can make this a little cleaner. Let's see. Let's see if we had something like that, right? So let's just, so this, see, it's constantly, until we enter something, and it's going to constantly keep going because I set the else back to player setup. So that is an everlasting loop, but I kind of like that lookout. I mean, I like the layout a little better. So we have to have this. So far it's working. We're having them enter in. Now, the only thing about this is that if we really wanted to make this, so right now this first check is not really doing much. So we want to add in another parameter. So we're going to say if name.length is less than 1 or, and I'm just going to paste in this regex expression into here. Okay. So before it was kind of good. We wanted them to not leave it blank, but this is going to test to make sure if it contains a string within A to Z, the alphabet, and all capitals, or lowercase, and it's going to test it using this. It's a built-in function. It's going to test the name. So we're basically running it, saying that, making sure if it exists, if someone typed in something, and if it's a string. That's exactly what this is doing. So if you ever want to know how to make something, check if it's a string using a regular expression, this is how you would do it. And as far as I know, it's pretty effective. And yeah, these are regular expressions. They're complicated little pieces of code at first if you're not used to looking at them. But anyways, so let's have this. So this is kind of giving us the, what do you call it, the security to make sure that people are entering in something that is not a name, that's not a string, right? With lowercase and uppercase. So in this case, since this is just a player setup, and we were checking for that, so I think in this case we would just want to set the player name to equal the value of name. So unless it went through this setup, we're just going to have it work as advertised. See, I'm just going to copy this in. And here we're going to say pleased to meet you. We'll say pleased to meet you and good luck course, we gotta use these. There we go. Nice to meet you and good luck. This. See? What we have? This player name. Let's see how nice it was. It did it for me automatically. Just set it right there. Let's see how clean that is. And this, so it's reading the program from it starts at the bottom with the immediately invoked function right here, but then it goes from there and it's reading down. So as you can see, it's getting access to our get input function, which we have to use, as we just used right here, this dot get input, and we can use and see we use the this keyword because it's a function inside of our class game, and since we're using async right here, we can use await to make sure that we're getting an efficient response time. But this is ES6 JavaScript, people. So I know it's kind of, you know, it's so modern with so many features, and but this stuff here is pretty old school, you know, returns and these keywords. So I'm already thinking about the next, and look, we'll just say game class end, because I don't want, so I don't want to get confused on which bracket belongs where, so we kind of have a good idea. So all inside the game class. So let's start with our next. You know what? I'm gonna do a. Say that. So this is our player setup function and logic. Looks pretty good, right? So let's start on the next function. And this is going to be say the town gates. And these are functions, but these are all different places that are we're gonna travel to in the game. So once again, we're gonna do async. We're gonna use camel case, town gates, and we kind of want some of this nice. At least I do. This nice way to display everything here. Let's say welcome to game of the noble town. Welcome to the gate of the noble town. So we would just have to change this town gate, because now town gate is a function we can call to. So here we're saying you know, it didn't pass the parameters we set forth, the conditions. And so we're just going to have it rerun again until you can re-enter your name and get it right. And then we move on to this section. So else, if, you know, we're just going to keep running you in if you don't put in the name right, less than one character, because it's a string data type. So it's running it through a, it knows it's running string logic on it. And then we're saying if that is all good, then we reset the player name to whatever the input was, name. And we say, pleased to meet you, and, you know, and then so we move it on to the next function, the next location. So in this case, we say, welcome to the gate of the noble town. And, okay, so we're gonna start on some different kind of logic, and let me take a drink. All right, so in this case we had to make a helper function. We had to run it through some conditionals to check if it's a string with more than one character, and it has characters that are within this index. And then we have it do something. We have it then go back and re-enter the name, or we have it else put the name as the player name, kind of greet you with it, and then we go on to the next stage. Okay, but that was with the string. In this case, we're going to be using an integer because we're going to have to use a choice. We're going to give them a choice to put, and it's going to make an action based on that choice. Okay, and we'll give it 3 or 4 choices, something like that. All right, so okay, welcome to the gate of the noble town. Let's say that there's a guard at the gates. Dressed in beautiful royal garbs. I could say so now we're creating the scene. I think that should be pretty. Okay, so we're going to start on the logic here. So the first one we can say is just say like talk with the guard. Okay. And the next one could be fight with the guard. And you know, I'm just thinking too. Let's say. So we're going to ask the user to enter a number choice. Then the last will be, let's say, leave the gate of the town. So I'm giving you 3 choices here. Now let's just separate that. At least visually, I mean, that looks better. So yeah, you know, the reason for these console.logs is because we're asking the user for a lot of stuff here. So let's run the game again. And here we go. Welcome to our game, Weary Traveler. What is your name? Matt. There's a guard at the gate, dressed in beautiful royal garbs. The knight approaches you. What do you wish to do? Enter a number choice. So, we're asking the user to input psychologically, right? We're asking him, or common sense wise, we're asking him to input a number. So it's a choice option, and the number is an integer. So we're not going to use get input and read line, because that is a module for reading a string input. Okay, this is an integer input. It's different. So we have to write another if else conditional. But before we do that, we make a variable. Okay, const choice. And in this case, JavaScript has a built-in method. So a built-in method is, in Python, there's a lot of built-in methods. You can use it to basically access functionality that the language has available, okay? And you do it through, WordPress has it with, like WP head or something that is built in for us to use. I'm forgetting choices off the top of my head here, but yeah. So parse int is how JavaScript would read an integer input. All right, and we're back. So the next sort of logic that we're going to implement is the integer choice. And so yes, we're going to continue using get input, the get input function. Parse integer is going to parse the integer and parse the string and turn it into an integer. So it's initially going to read the input as a string. But yeah, let's build this out here. So okay, we're gonna say if, and here's another, if is not a number. So it's checking if it's an integer or not. We're gonna say please enter a valid number. As we all know, it looks better that way. So okay. And so since this is going to be the logic is a little easier on this one. So we're just going to let's go back at the beginning so we can enter in the number again. And then, okay. Now, we're just going to add in another choice conditional. We're going to say if choice is equal to 1. So if they select 1, we're going to say, let's see, so that's going to be talk with the guard, and we'll just say stop there, stranger. You are not allowed inside town. Okay, so let's run this real quick. So let's say that. we're gonna do, okay. Stop there, stranger. You're not outside the town, and of course it just ended because it's not doing anything else. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have it turn to the tailgate, and yeah. So then the next thing is we're gonna do an else if, because this is gonna be ratting in 3 choices. So we're gonna say else if choice is equal to 2. We're gonna say, so we're gonna have you lose some HP. So this is how I would subtract 1 from the player HP. And then just say, keep forgetting that. Okay, so from here, say, okay, we'll say that, and then we'll add in see, in this case, if I wanted to add then I want to call yep. And then after that, I'm just gonna return it. So we're gonna say return tailgate. Okay. And so we're gonna do one more else if, and this is if the choice is equal to, you guessed it, number 3. So so in this case, we're just going to return. And you know what? We're gonna make up a new function. This is the next function. We're gonna call it crossroads. And then else, in case nothing else works, we're gonna return this. We're gonna do tailgate. So it's just gonna go right back to the top. So let's give it a shot. What do you want to do? Enter a number. So huh. Let me see here. Let me try this. Let's try this one more time. Alright, so that was a miscalculation on my part. I actually just had to bring the window up. It's confusing me there for a bit. So let's run this one more time. So I'm starting the game. Saying Matt, and it's giving me 3 options. So talk with the guard. Stop there, stranger. You are not allowed inside the town. Do fight with the guard. Then we lose 1 health, and we display our health. So that is, and then of course we haven't made crossroads yet. So, excuse me. That's gonna exit. That's gonna exit it. So let's go ahead and let's go ahead and make the crossroads. All right, so just crossroads function. Just like that. Say here. Welcome. So this is going to be where we can move through the game. So far we just had to say we had a player setup function. We had a town gate where the player setup function we're taking in a string. Going forward we're just going to be taking in integer values. And so we set up a town gate, and now we're at crossroads, which we're going to be doing the same thing with crossroads that we did right over here. So so we're gonna have 2 options. We're gonna have go north, which will lead us back to the town gates. Back to gated town. We will go east. You know what? We'll call this the potion swamp. And then we'll go south. And we'll say beware. We're going to be setting up a monster battle here. We'll just have we'll have west. Weaponry swamp shop. Weaponry shop. So we just run it again. Everything's working good. So in this case, when we leave the gated town, welcome to the crossroads. Okay. And so now, you pretty much just have to just have to get this, because this is our little function, or not our function, but this is our variable and our conditional that we need to convert input into an integer format, and then check it just to make sure that it's an integer. So yeah, and but in this case we just have to turn this to crossroads. And then, so we're just going to write out we're just going to write out the 3 or 4 choices here. So we'll say if choice is equal to 1, we're going to say return this dot town gate, which, yeah, I mean, that's just gonna have it take it back to the town, and then we'll do else if choice is equal to 2, which is east. We'll say return this dot east, and we haven't made east yet, so we're gonna say return this dot south, and then we're just gonna do else. Well, I think we would just do another else if choice is equal to 4. And this one will be west. And then lastly, we'll have the else, which will return this dot crossroads. Yeah. So just in case all else fails or they hit anything, they're just gonna go right back to repeat their fate. So see how easy that was? Just to implement a little logic. So the next thing we're just gonna start on is the east. Well, we're just gonna build out our functions here so that let's see, so we're gonna do async. So I'm gonna copy this. So we're gonna have south, and then we're gonna have west. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do west. Do south. Right, so, I mean, you guessed it. So the east function we already talked about is going to be the potion swamp. So at the beginning of the game, I actually have an empty string that I want to fill up with a second potion. So we're going to mess around with that. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have the monster battle in the south, and then the west, or sorry, that's in the south, and then in the west this is going to be the weaponry shop. So yeah, let's start with let's start with east. How about that? So yeah, get a little of this. Sucks when you're sick, you gotta breathe out of your mouth. So for the east, all right, so we're just gonna copy. We'll just copy all this because we're gonna have some choices to make. So we're gonna say welcome to the swamp of the legendary yellow potion. Alright. And we're gonna give so this is gonna be a place where we're gonna pick up that potion. I don't want to have too much interaction with it. I kind of just want them to get it as soon as they land onto the function. So we're going to give them one option is to leave. And then the second thing is as soon as they land, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. So first of all, we're gonna take this bad boy. We're gonna put it right here. And then what we're gonna do here, so they're not going to have the green potion, we know that, but I want some sort of functionality that is going to, if they don't have it, if they have an empty string there, then it's going to give us a second option that we can use. So we're going to write an if statement. We're going to say if this dot player potions. And so remember, we're counting from the index. So there's two elements in the array of potions, but one of them is an empty string. So it's gonna say that it's nothing there basically. So we're gonna have this, and we're just gonna say if this dot player potions is equal to 1, we're gonna have it say console.log have a pick up yellow potion. So that is only going to display when they first arrive, unless they decide not to pick it up the first time. So let's give that a try. So I'm gonna leave the gate of town. I'm gonna go east. See? There it is, there it is. And since we don't have any logic. And yeah, so we're gonna move down. We're going to start up our choices. So if choice is equal to 1, we're going to return them to the crossroads. We're going to say else if choice is equal to 2, and you know what? And we'll say and. So this means if it meets both of these conditions, it'll run. Stop there. Yep. So it's just checking it one more time, just in case it got past the first security here. We're gonna say. So we're going to rewrite that empty string with yellow potion. Okay. And then we're going to say console.log see, we're actually gonna do this. Then we're gonna say player potions. And then we're gonna say that should be. Let's give it a shot. I don't know. I have to fill it with something. So essentially, it would look something like this. And then after that, we would say return x.east. And then we'll just say else. Return this.east. So let's give it a shot. Let's see, number 2, go east. Okay. So I'm gonna hit 2. You picked up the yellow potion, player potions, red potion, yellow potion. So there we go. And as you see, it brought us back, but this time there's no option for us to get it because we already have it inside our inventory. And now they could get it a second time, most likely, but yeah, that's some glitches make the game fun. Okay, so let's begin with the west. So now these things aren't so definite. You can add on whatever you want to add on, but this is just a way that we can get used to using ES6 JavaScript. And what better way than to make a game? So we're just going to copy this again. We're going to say welcome to. Okay, welcome to the West, our finest weapon shop. I'm just gonna say so you look quite wealthy, friend. So now we're just gonna take this again. Pop that in there. And so now we're gonna start. Choice is equal to 1. Oh, but we don't have any choices yet. So yeah, so I'm just gonna copy this. I think the choices that we're gonna have for this one. So we're gonna be making together this boss fight. Okay. Now the weapon that they have that the player started off with is the knife. I said damage 5. We haven't actually. I just wrote that. We haven't actually set up a way to accomplish that. But I want to have it be so that you don't just go straight to the monster and beat him. I want you to have to get that potion. I want you to have to get another weapon, a stronger weapon. So in the case of the weaponry shop, we're going to give them the option to buy the sword of destruction, okay? And we're going to give it the exact amount that our player has in his bank account, basically. And we're going to add in one more little thing here. We're going to say player gold. So just so you know that we're dealing in the business. So we're going to give him that option, or we're just going to give him the option to leave. So yeah, so we're going to have him buy the gold, buy the sword with the gold. All right, so what we're going to do first, we're going to say if choice is equal to 1. Now we're going to nest another if inside it. You can do that. We're going to say if this player.gold is not equal to 1,000. It should be, because we started the game with 1,000, and you can change that however you want. But we're going to say if it's not equal to 1,000, or I'm sorry, if this player gold is equal to 1,000, not if it's not equal. If it is equal to 1,000, sorry about that. We're going to say this dot player gold, and now we're going to subtract 1,000 from the player gold. Okay, so if there's 1,000 in this bank account, if this dot player gold is equal to 1,000, if there's 1,000 in the bank account, we're then going to subtract, because they're buying the sword of destruction, right? So we're going to subtract the 1,000 because it costs 1,000, and then we're going to put the player weapon, and we're going to set it equal to sword of destruction. Okay. And then we're going to say we're going to have the shopkeeper drop some knowledge. It looks good on you. I'm going to say about the sword. And then we're going to have one more. We're just going to say player weapon. And it should have the sword. Okay. And so that if, let's see, well, the if condition is going to go on, so we have to return it back to let's return it back to this. Yeah, return it back. So yeah, and then so if, and then so we have to, we're just going to close it out here. We're going to say else. We're going to say don't have enough gold. Broke is a joke. You got the shopkeeper talking down to you. Okay, so then we're just going to go back to the west. So that was all for choice 1. That is all the logic for choice 1, and we nested an if-else conditional inside the if, but we still have to round out this one we're working with. So we're going to say else if choice is equal to 2, then we're just going to have it go back to the crossroads because we're leaving. So we're going back to the crossroad, and then we're just going to finish it off. Else return this dot. I'm going to return back to the function. So let's give it a go. Say that. Pleased to meet you. Okay, we're going to leave the gates. We're going to go to. So you see the potion shop, and we're restarting the game, so we have all the options fresh. So Now we're gonna go west. Welcome to the west, our finest weapon shop. You look quite wealthy. Okay. So as you can see, we have all this. And we bought the sword. Now it's saying player gold 0 now, so if I try to buy it again, since I don't have enough gold, broke is a joke. Beautiful. See, that wasn't too bad. So last one is south, and then I'm gonna break this off into a second part where we deal with the battle function. But yeah, let's build out the south part of it. So this is the beware. This is the part where we're dealing with the monster. And you know what? We're just gonna take this whole little section. Monsters lurk. Okay, now we're saying, what do you want to do? So we're in the south. The monsters are lurking. We're just gonna have our we're gonna have us. They're gonna show our attributes again. Okay, so we have our little display here. Now we're gonna have it be, this one will be, we're gonna enter the swamp. Or, unless in case our brave warrior has been frightened, we're just gonna leave, okay? And then from here, we're just gonna take this, and if you guessed it, we're gonna start our choices. So, enter the swamp, or leave. So, you can say if choice is equal to 1, that would have to return us to oh sorry, let's say we're just going to call this the fight. Now we haven't made it yet, but yeah, we're going to say else. Save. Just say else. Yep. And so, yeah, the next thing we would have to make would be a fight mode. So let's go ahead So I'm just gonna say fight. And you know what? I'm gonna actually keep all this because I like. Okay. Just gonna. Should have had it down here. I think it looks. Better like that. What do you think? Okay. So. What do you want to do? Enter number choice. So you can say attack, run away. And of course, we're just going to borrow this again. Attack or run away. That's all we can do. So we are going to. All right. You know what? The other thing is too is I want to have an option that we can have our potions. So I think at this point, what do you think? Should I put the potions in the south? Yeah, maybe I should have the potions here. So yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have the potions here, and yeah, we're gonna have it like this. So okay, so the yellow potion is only going to be available if we picked it up. So we're going to have to do another one of these things up here that we did. I'm just going to copy this. So we're going to say if this player potions, yeah, so use yellow potion. Yep, and that is how it goes. That's as easy as it gets. So yeah, so we're gonna have, so yeah, if else if, so we're just gonna start with this. We're gonna say else if choice is equal to 3. Yeah, so else if choice is equal to 3, use a red potion. We're gonna have, so the red potion is gonna upgrade their HP. So we're adding, plus equals is adding. So we're gonna upgrade it by we'll do 3 points. That's fair. You got a few bumps and bruises along the way. say yep, let's say player HP, and then I'm just gonna have another one that says oh sorry, this one's a red potion. So we're gonna have used the red potion. I'll just leave it like that. Let's see. Oh, +1. And yeah. And now we're gonna do in case you took the yellow potion. The stop player HP is gonna be up by 15. That's kind of a hack there. So use the yellow potion. Oh, this was 3. I'd say that's pretty it's pretty fair. And then of course, so the last thing we'd have to do is we're gonna have to set the stop player potions 1 equal to an empty string again. This one would be 0. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Then we say else. So turn this in the south, and that's it. So let's give it a go. Leave. So we're gonna go to the potion swamp first. We're gonna pick up a yellow potion. Go back to the potion swamp, which is east. Huh. Oh, okay. Did I not pick it up last time? Guess not. Let me see what happens if I go north. Let's try it again. Let me go east. Yeah, so no, it's working. So let's see, I go to the weaponry shop. I buy the sword of destruction. Let's try to buy it again. Nope. Okay. Everything's still good. The potion swamp. Okay, so I'm going south now. Yep, so I have my new player weapon. I have red and yellow. What I want to do is a red potion. Huh. Oh, okay. I need to turn this south. Now, the only thing that was wrong is that change this to that. So let's try that one more time. Pick yellow potion, leave. Let's just go right down to the south. Okay, so use a red potion. There we go. Use a yellow potion. So if I use a red potion, oh no, sorry, let's run away. Ah, sorry, y'all, hold up. So let me just go down south. Yep, so I didn't pick up the yellow potion yet. Use a red potion. HP 18. Let's see if I can use a red potion again. Oh, I can use red potions unlimited. So interesting. So okay, well, let me just leave. I've got a potion swamp, pick up the yellow. And I'm gonna go south. Yeah, see. So in here, if I said this, because now let's try that again. So if I now let's see if I try to use it. Oh. Oh yeah. Sorry, people. Okay. Picking up a yellow potion. I'm going south. I'm using a red potion. Yeah, see, now I can't use it a second time. So, but so I'd have to set a set two of them. See how kind of complicated that got. So in this way, I'll know what it is I should be using. South. So if I use ooh, man, I am just jumping the gun here, aren't I? Okay. I'm just gonna make it easy. So leave. Go south. There's a red potion. Yep. Yellow potion. Yep. Yep. Because you are out of potions. So that is what it is. Now, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. The next thing is going to be a little different than just making the shop work. So we're going to have to set up this fight and attack method. So inside the fight, we're going to have it we're going to make another method. I'm going to call it attack. Else if choice is equal to 2, we're just going to have them return south, and else just have them return south. So get in out of there. Now it's time for the attack method. I'm just going to say attack. And we're going to copy this. You lunge at the creature with full force. Player HP. These are the player potions. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so we are back. So we left off with the attack method, and in this method we're going to be introducing a few other new variables. So we're going to have the monster health points, we're going to have the monster damage, we're going to set the damage for our different weapons. So let's get that going. So we're going to move on up to our constructor file again. And in this case, we're going to add a few different things. So I wanted to we'll call it the infinity stone. And we'll set this to a Boolean or to an integer. And well, yeah, into an integer. And then we will have the monster HP, which will equal to 15. Let's say 20. It's a little stronger than us, right? And then we'll have the monster damage, which will set to 0 for now. And yeah. So let's go back down to south. Sorry, to attack. And then from here, so we're going to start writing out the logic for the battle here. So we're going to say const player damage. Okay. So it's equal to do a little shorthand here. This player weapon. Set to that. And then we will do and say okay, so we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna come back down here and save this to the monster. HP, and then we're gonna subtract. By the amount of the player damage. So okay. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. I can also just put this on one line. So let's see. Now from here, okay. So we're gonna have, so what this is doing is we're setting the knife damage. This is a I forget what, a ternary operator. Instead of if and else, we're using this is the same as if, and this is the same as else. So we're saying if this player weapon is equal to the knife, then it's going to equal excuse me. So math random is getting a random number. Floor is rounding it out to the nearest integer, and we're multiplying that by 3. So it's never going to be yeah, it's never going to be a very high number. But and then so with here else, we're setting it same thing times 12, so it does more damage. And the else would be the Sword of Destruction, which we don't have to name. And then so we're gonna have this monster HP. We're gonna say if it's less than 1, we're gonna say, which means that you beat the monster. Say you defeated the beast. I'm gonna say drop the shining stone. So now from here, we say this dot infinity stone is equal to 1. Okay. And return this dot crossroads. So we're going all the way back to the crossroads. That's if we win. Okay. I'm gonna say else. We're gonna set the monster damage to something like that, times 5. We're gonna subtract the player HP by. So it's saying that if we don't kill it, if the monster HP is still greater than 1, then it's going to have it so that we're attacked by the monster. And so we're actually just going to take this here, and instead of, let's say this. Say so you can see how much HP you have left. And so it's going to run that. And inside here, we're going to say if the stop player HP gets to less than 1, we're going to have game over, loser. Defeated. Okay. And then the way that we would, let's say process.exit. That's going to end the game. Say else. Turn this. Say return this dot attack. So we're just going to have it attack until either you or the monster dies. So we're going to give it a shot. Okay, let's go leave. We're just going to go right to the monster, and we're going to see if we can die first. So we're just going to enter the swamp. After a slither makes it sends chills down. Okay. So we're going to attack. Ah, okay, so it's giving us an error because we said monster damage, but monster damage is not defined. On which line? On line 306. What do you think is the issue here? Ah, okay, because we didn't do this. There we go. We didn't do this here either. Yep. Can't forget that. So we're going to try it again. Enter the swamp, attack. You lump at the creature with full force. The monster attacked you and dealt 1 damage. Huh. Doesn't seem right. If my health is 15... Okay, so it ran a series of events because we're doing the attack. So let's set this back to... Let's send this back to fight. Because attack just runs a bunch of attack sequences, and we kind of want to have a choice during the battle. So we're going to enter the swamp, we're going to attack. Okay, so you attack the monster and dealt 3 damage. Monster attacked you and dealt 1, so we're gonna attack again. Okay, so game over, loser. I was defeated. So, as you can see, with no modifications, us dying is very real. But if we go to the potion swamp, we pick up the yellow potion. And we go to the weaponry shop and we pick up the Sword of Destruction. And then we go south and we use our red potion and we use our yellow potion. Then we enter the swamp. And so we attack. You attack the monster and dealt 12 damage. So see, we're stronger now. Dealt 1 damage. So, you defeated the beast. It dropped a shining stone. Now, so we want to have a way that we can go back to the town and enter the town gate with the stone, and that'll be the victory. That'll be the victory lap right there. So, the last thing we need to do is make that victory lap. So we're going to go back to our town gate, right here where it says where we have the guard. And we're going to have it be... Okay. So we're going to do another if condition inside here. We're going to say if this dot infinity stone is equal to 1, which it should be now, we're going to say game win. Save the town by defeating the monster. funny thing is we set this as the else. And in the same way, we would say process exit. And so we'd win that way. And yeah, and then so let's give it a shot. Okay, we're gonna play it again. So as you can see, when we talk to the guard, we're not allowed to get into the town yet. So I'm gonna pick up the potion. I'm gonna go to the weapon shop, pick up the sword. And then I'm gonna go south. I'm gonna take the potions. And I'm gonna enter the battle. So I'm putting a beat down on him already. Okay, so I have the Infinity Stone. So now I go north. I go back to the town. I talk to the guard. Game win. You save the town by defeating the monster. All right. And I mean that's the game right there. I mean, it's not too not too difficult there, but yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed it, just let me know. I'm gonna have the code for this up inside the GitHub, which will be in a link at the bottom of the video. And if you enjoyed this, check out my coding courses, check out my other free content. You know, I'm not the biggest speaker, but I know what I'm talking about here. So anyways, yeah, Matt, this is Matt, and I'm out. Peace.